Hello, dear friends. Here we are. This is Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m. with you fixing the camera, making sure that we are here to learn more with Emmanuel in the book Harvest of Light, Ceifa de Luz in Portuguese, okay? This book is a book of guideposts, true deep explanations. We don't think Emmanuel goes as explicit in the teachings as in this book when we compared to the other books of messages that he has written. This book brings to us a major insight. In his preface, he says, prayer for light. And in there, we start being aware that we need to be humble enough to subject ourselves to God and ask for the elevation of our thoughts, for the illumination of our lives, to help us recognize our possibilities, to inspire us and never take for granted our friends, to amplify our vision, to teach us to find peace in the daily struggle, to bless us and give us a hand, to even illuminate our memory so we can recall with security the lessons of yesterday, and that we take advantage of their memory in the day of today. It's unbelievable. We should even pray for that in our lives. Yesterday, in chapter 24, we were told by Emmanuel, when he quoted from Jesus in Luke 6:32, that it's not enough to love those who love us. We need to embrace those who still struggle with us. What a joy we have here, all the friends, including Dr. Andre Moreira. Hello, Andre. What a joy. And today, I tell you this, Teresa Castro, hello, so many, Patricia Guiri. Today, the message is unbelievable. Law and life. He's going to quote from Jesus in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Are you ready? Ready, friends? I think this message is unprecedented. I recall to date when I read this for the first time. I was shocked. You know about Moses and the 10 Commandments? Yes, that was a mediumistic message received by Moses, right? Exactly. Moses was a medium. We owe a great deal to him. Emmanuel, in the book O Consolador, tells us that the basis of the divine law is summed up in the 10 Commandments. And we often don't even remember what it is. But there is one line over there that says, you shall not kill. And we're like, oh, we're good with it. I don't kill anybody. Tonight, I'm not going to say we want to push the button of guilt. No, we don't. But we would like to sharpen up ourselves, to be kind enough with ourselves and say, I am pro the movement of life. Life. What is it? Are you ready? Did I give you enough time? Yes, Rudy? Present and ready? Yes? Sente o presente. O presente é presente. Feel the present. The present is a present. And it's a joy to be here. We could be anywhere else, but for us, it's a true blessing to be able to be here and to be given this opportunity in this life to know about this much of the law of God. As we always recall, what we're learning with Emmanuel, we will take it to immortality. It's not going to stay here only. Okay? Ready, set, go. Law and Life, chapter 25, from the book Ceifa de Luz, Harvest of Light. Do not think that I have come to revoke the law or the prophets. I did not come to revoke it. I came to fulfill it. That was said by Jesus in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Emmanuel then explains to us, "You shall not kill," says the law. The text does not refer, however, only to the lives of the fellow beings. You shall not frustrate the task of others because you suppose it inadequate, since every task promotes those who execute it whenever it is nobly fulfilled. You shall not squander anyone's hope for happiness based on the... Okay, you shall not squander anyone's hope for happiness as much as you don't want somebody to do the same to you. Let me see what is missing in this message. I apologize. There's something missing here. Chapter 25, it says, you shall not... Oh, because... That was the missing. Because for happiness is not basically the same in every person's experience. I will repeat it. You shall not squander anyone's hope for happiness because happiness is basically not the same in every person's experience. You shall not destroy the courage of those who dream or work in your way, considering that accomplishment may be different from individual to individual. You shall not annihilate with uselessness the time of your brothers and sisters, because every hour is a sacred agent in the values of creation. You shall not extinguish affection in the soul of others, for we are all ignorant of what instrument of love divine wisdom intends to move the hearts that share our march. You shall not exterminate the faith in the spirit of the companions that cross your way, observing that the roads of God to God obey structures and directions that vary to the infinite. Let us then reflect on the good of our neighbor, respecting their form and life. The law does not draw specifications or conditions within the subject matter. It simply says, you shall not kill. Are you surprised, friend? If this is your first time, I was surprised because I always thought that when Moses brought that message, that the message for us was about the killing of the body. With Spiritism, as Jesus said, we don't come here, Jesus or Spiritism, to revoke the messages that have come before. It's a continuity, like science. One finding adds to the other, and then to the other. It's an accumulation of knowledge and understanding. So here tonight, we're being invited to trim a little more the edges of our being, sculpting ourselves. Remember, we're sculptures of God, and say to ourselves, I'm not going to kill myself. That's why I forgive myself. I'm not going to kill others. Yes, when sometimes we have closest friends, we share with them some of our frustrations. That does not mean we're going to be stuck there. That doesn't mean we're going to exterminate anyone. As he's saying to us, first and foremost, he says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 occasions of observation. Emmanuel does not outline 6 circumstances just because he picked the best, the top 6. No. He's summing up to us the most important? No, everything we need to do. He says, first of all, do not frustrate the tasks of others. How often do I frustrate? Friends, don't feel guilty, okay? We're just observing. It's an exercise for us to observe ourselves and say, I'm mature enough to see this and to work with it with self-compassion. Do I frustrate the tasks of others? I know often we know that, or we think that others are frustrating ours. But do we frustrate the tasks of others? How do we frustrate? Can I tell you? Indifference. Indifference. If a celebrity is telling us that something is important, we may say, wow, I believe in it. But then when Chico Xavier came in the little village of Pedro Leopoldo, without a title, without social influence, without any ways and means, materially speaking, many people had their deaf ears. They were indifferent, like Jesus, a Galilean, without titles, without social influence. It's like, who cares about this carpenter? Despising, indifference, and frustrating the tasks of others. That is a form of killing. Exactly, Teresa Castro. Thank you so much. Big hug to you, Elsa. So she's saying, Teresa Castro is saying, I'm hearing the message from Thought and Life book to collaborate instead of creating obstacles. Exactly. But sometimes in our families, we see somebody even cooking, like, what are you gonna cook? Oh, rice and beans. Oh, rice and beans. Oh, but I feel like doing this. But please don't. Have we ever heard our guided model say, Peter, you're gonna fish today? Come on, let's give a break, huh? Let's do something else. We've never heard that Humberto de Campos in the book Good News tells us otherwise, that every day Jesus would wake up and go fishing, spend the day, then come back. He never said to Judas, Judas, don't do that directly, because there is free will. We need to give room for people to do what they need to do. I think the hardest is when they do things that hurt us, and we tend, with our old conditionings, to go there and smash. Okay, parenthesis here, huh? Parenthesis here. This year is a political year in many countries. And then you may ask, but Vanessa, if a politician or somebody who has a position in an organization and they are not doing right, if you participate, you need to voice your opinion. That's not frustration, that's participation. Okay? So like if you participate in a school board and there is something going on that you don't approve of, that's not frustrating the tasks of others. If you see something is wrong and the general good is being harmed, you need to be proactive and stand up and be courageous to say, no, I cannot participate on this any longer. It's very beautiful when we see people doing the right, but when we are asked to do the right, we stay shy. Like, for example, at the church, the Catholic Church. We owe a great deal to the Catholic Church on the earth. But the scandal of the pedophile priests is destroying the whole reputation. And we think, oh, people were covering up. But you know why they cover up? Because we cover up. They cover up there, and we cover up in other ways. So we needed to be very attentive, and very careful. Very careful. because there is a limit. When I frustrate the tasks of others when they are good and they are benefiting people, I'll give an example. If somebody is giving a course on Spiritism, oh, but they are going to use a book, I think there is a better book. That's okay. We support them. It's a good idea. It's going to benefit people. I cannot go there and frustrate them. Or sometimes our children want to go to college and, you know, work in the artistic field. Oh no, they are never gonna make money. I need to tell them that is how I kill the soul of somebody. Frustrating the task of others because I suppose inadequate. Since every task promotes those who execute it whenever it is nobly fulfilled. I'm sharing this with you, critical things, because most often than not, the earth takes longer to progress, because we don't know the difference between being proactive in helping the good move forward, blocking the evil one, and when we are actually intervening in people's lives. So sometimes we don't know the fine line and we prefer to do nothing, or to go to the extreme and say, like the inquisitors of previous lives, they frustrated the tasks of many people, killing people literally, right? And then he says here, you shall not squander anyone's hope, because happiness is not the same in your experience. So in the book Jesus in the Home, there is a beautiful message by Jesus, beautiful message, when he tells that a man who seemed to be very wise was asked by the people in the city what to do next. Some people would come to him and say, I'm thinking about opening a business, and he would often say, no, don't waste your time, it's not going to work. And then he used to say to other people, I think I'm going to have children. No, don't waste your time. That's waste of your time. And then he would frustrate everybody's ideas and hopes. When he died, he discarnated. He thought he was going to go straight to heaven. He didn't. He went straight to the valley of murderers, said Jesus. The valley of murderers. And he asked, but I was not a murderer. And then an angel said, yes, you were. You killed everybody's hope. Sometimes we're so pessimistic, we kill people's hope. Scale 0 to 10, where are we in that regard? Are we encouraging people to blossom? Or are we frustrating their hopes, squandering their hopes? Can we change? Yes. By doing the same to us. Because usually we do to others what we do to ourselves. So let's start with an affirmation. Closing our eyes, putting our hand on our chest and saying, I support the blossoming of my divine potential. I support the blossoming of my divine potential. I support the blossoming of my divine potential. And so I reflect it on others as well. And so I reflect it on others as well. And so I reflect it on others as well. If I support mine, I will do the same to others. I will turn up the volume in my voice, Donna Verducci. I'm so sorry, okay? So I support the blossoming of my divine potentials, and so I reflect it onto others. Because if I am frustrating it in others, that means that I'm doing the same with me. Because when somebody's fully accomplished and fulfilled and open, they don't shut people down. We only start shutting people down when we feel shut down. So I begin changing here. If I accept my beauty, accept my goodness, I will project it onto others. Any and everybody is a child of God, and any and everybody is supposed to bloom like a flower and exhale their perfume and their vibratory colors. Right? You feel it? Feel it? He says, do not destroy the courage of those who dream or who work in your way. No, no, no. Considering that accomplishment may be different from individual to individual. So some people, they want to do a project and we're like, oh, that person's never going to make it. Who are we to say? That's what he's saying here. He's saying, you know, the way we do things is different from individual to individual. So then I look at the differences and I admire it. We think there's always one recipe. I know people who want to become billionaires and they read the books of other billionaires. It's okay. But they don't understand that there is a reincarnatory plan. That each life has different nuances. You're not going to become a billionaire if you do the same steps as somebody else. Some people, they told me once, everything good happens in a garage. Why? I asked. Oh, because look at Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. Ah, really? At Jesus' time, there was no garage. There were no cars. It became in a manger, in a stable. And that's the best that happened to the planet this far. The coming of the Christ. You see how we elude ourselves? We think we're going to become the next hit if we start something in a garage. It doesn't make any sense. We need to use our reasoning. And our reasoning tells that things are going to happen according to my effort and repetition. Effort, repetition. Effort, repetition. I'll tell you what. Divaldo Franco, when Chico Xavier was still incarnated, Divaldo Franco was renowned, but not to the same extent. And there were people who, like Chico, didn't like Divaldo. You know, Chico Xavier died in 2000, discarnated in 2002. And I remember Divaldo telling me how many people oppressed, tried to frustrate the tasks. And what did Divaldo do? He kept on doing the good, like riding. Do the good, do the good, do the good, do the good. People would throw stones and he would continue, do the good, do the good, do the good. People would create obstacles, he would jump. Do the good, do the good, do the good. Look where he is today. In 2011, in 12, I remember talking to people who told me, Divaldo he's so old. I don't think he's doing well. I look at him now, and he's 91, and he's doing better than majority of us. Why? What's the secret, you may be asking, huh? Riding the horse of the good. Do the good, do the good, do the good. Never stop. Never stop. Because when we do the good, it's because we're feeling the good, we're thinking of the good, we are visualizing the good, and that stays with us. Nowadays, he gives talks, even if it is seated, but he does. Do you think he's going to wait for death, seated in his office at the mention of the way? Or in his bedroom? No. Why? If God is still giving him life, and he's still very useful. And some people say, but Vanessa, what about the new generation? Well, but there is room for everybody to work. And if you read the latest issue of the Spiritist magazine, in our editorial, we quoted Jesus about our non-transferable task. It's a multi-generation collaboration. The older ones, more experienced, need to collaborate with the younger ones. Not collaborating by giving advice by the mouth, by keeping on doing what they need to do, while the younger ones are watching and learning. Right, Livia? So, don't destroy the courage of people. And you shall not... No, Mentor Joseph is asking us to extend one more point in relationships. Some people fall in love, and you're like, oh, I love you, love you. Then they are together, and then one of the partners starts saying, oh, I want to go back to school. I want to do a master's degree, a PhD, or I want to work in a Spiritist center, dedicate myself. And they're like, what? No, but that was not in our plan when we got married. But what is that, prison now? Marriage is prison? I'm sorry. Who is your Lord? Your partner or God? If God is telling you, expand your knowledge, do it. If God is asking you to go volunteer, do it. Your partner, of course, everything there is an agreement with the family, right? I remember when I started dating Carlos, I was already very active in Spiritism. And I said, Carlos, you know Spiritism is number one for me. As much as I love you, Spiritism is a priority. You want to join it? And he said, yes, I do. So I didn't deceive him. I didn't tell him, oh, from now onwards, I'm going to be your servant. I'm going to make you happy, because that's an illusion. Want to grow together? That's the goal. Right? People, when they get to their elderly years, they have regrets. And the regrets that I hear are always like this. I wish I had made different choices. Instead of pleasing others, working to serve the general good. That I hear every day. And I'll never forget, and I have permission to say this, Selenia Shepherd, who was one of my best friends, still is, though she's discarnated, mother of 5 children, married to Steve Shepherd. What a man. What a family. When she was already 50-something, she found out about our center in Baltimore, started coming, helping. But then one day she found out she was diagnosed with cancer. For 3 years, she battled against it. She would do chemotherapy and come to Baltimore all the way from Pennsylvania. with her family. She never complained about anything, and she did the best she could. But one day, a week before she discarnated, in the hospital, we were visiting her. She looked at me and said, Vanessa, I want more time because now I want to work more for Spiritism, for Jesus. And Mentor Joseph said, just tell her that she will, but in the way that God wants, not the way that she thinks. Well, I just said the first part. The week after she discarnated, we were there in a hospice. And I'll never forget. She died with a smile in her face. Her family loved her to life. And I saw, though they would miss her, but the joy in their eyes, because that woman left a legacy for all of them, of love. And in spite of it all, she said it, I want to do more. So I'm telling you, friend, don't wait for your retiring years. Don't wait for you to read 10,000 books, for you to roll your sleeves and start plowing the soil, helping others. The world needs us and needs you. Don't doubt your divine potential. Don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow may be late. Start now. And if you want to do more, accelerate. Because the spirits never say, you're doing too much. They will always say what they said to Chico, Xavier, to Divaldo Franco and all of us. Do more. That's the reason why we're here at 11 p.m. Mentor Joseph always says, more, 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 more. Because he says the suffering in the world, Vanessa, doesn't stop because we want to rest. Rest however you want, but don't skip it. Not a day, no. Not a day. Because suffering is riding the horses of people every day. We need to ride the horse of the good. Do the good, do the good, do the good. And call people to join us. Join us instead of frustrating them, saying, come on over. And that's from parents to children. How many parents kill the soul of their children? Because they're little. Oh, you don't know. No, no, no. I want to help, Mom. No, 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 but you don't know how to help. You don't know. Oh my gosh, but how are they going to learn? Give them a little broom. Give them a little piece of cloth and say, please, yes, help in this way. And then we give them an opportunity, but we don't kill their hope of being helpful, because then they become teenagers, feeling they are useless. And we're like, come on, you're useless. And they could tell the parents, thank you, you taught me to be useless. Always telling me that I didn't know, that I wasn't good enough, that I had to wait for you, and I'm waiting for you. So this lesson comes to us in every facet of our lives, from work to family, community, and with ourselves. And finally, he says, don't kill the time of others uselessly. Sometimes people talk too much, right? Sometimes we talk too much. We're like, oh my gosh, I am annihilating the time of that person by blah, 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 blah. Unless you need help. But sometimes we don't. We just say things out of the blue. So we need to discipline ourselves. And he says, You shall not extinguish affection in the souls of others, for we are all ignorant of what instrument of love divine wisdom intends to move the hearts that share our march. Let me open in the Portuguese just to make sure that I didn't miss anything when we revised it, because it says, não extinguirás a afeição. I remember a couple who was married for, let me see, 60 plus years. Good marriage. And one day I asked the man, would you get married again to her? And he said, oh yes, I would. And then I asked her, would you? And she said, I'm not sure. And then we laughed. But then I asked her later, why did you say that? Because I know you love him. She said, you know, the first years in our relationship were so tough. He used to be so cold. I would come, caress, be very affectionate, and he would always push me away. And I had to understand and live with it, and it took quite a while for me to settle in and to be at peace. So when I think about getting married again, though he's a good husband, I recall those first years in which he extinguished the affection. It's as if I have a fire extinguisher and I am on the fire of love. Indifference is a fire extinguisher. Are we being different to anyone? It's so good when we can say to somebody, I love you. I really care about you. I really mean it. I really want you to succeed and to feel complete in God. And I want to support your progress. Instead of like, I don't care. That's a way to kill the soul. No wonder people commit suicide. Sometimes there are great couples, we think. We see externally wonderful couples. When you see them in their houses, in the four walls of their bedroom, you're going to see there's a lot of indifference. And then when we see the reports that celebrities kill themselves, we wonder who also contributed to kill that flame of love inside of them. I'm not saying they are victims, but we interact with one another and co-responsible. Finally, he says, you shall not exterminate the faith in the spirit of the companions that cross your way, observing that the roads to God obey structures and directions that vary to the infinite. So we, in spite of the scandal of some priests that became pedophile, we are grateful and we approve. If a friend of ours comes nowadays, I'm sharing this because it is in the news. And some people are like, oh, you're Catholic, you shouldn't. Look at the scandal. For God's sake. Some people need it. And there are many good things. Because of a few people, we cannot discourage them from walking that path. So, if they need the Catholic Church, so be it. How many spiritual spirits came from the Catholic tradition? Majority of them. Majority. And they have nothing to do with this scandal. You see how the forces of darkness are blocking the way of people. They are the ones who kill the souls of people. So what do? Reflect on the good of our neighbor. Seek the good. Neighbor being anyone. I know people who are so mentally disturbed that they feel rage against the pets of their house. They cannot see the good. They give names and label even the dogs and the cats and the birds, saying, oh, this dog is always peeing on the fridge. He's always messing it up. He's a lazy dog. Oh my gosh, they are children of God, are they not? So let us do something right now. Visualize all the animals in this planet and send them our loving care, our gratitude. Oh God, forgive our unawareness, our cruelties. Please protect the animals in this planet from ignorance, cruelty. May they be respected, loved, and cared for, and so be it. Right, friends, so let us embrace this, and he says, respecting their form and life, and know that when we receive the notification by the higher spirits, you shall not kill, Emmanuel says, the law of God does not draw specifications or conditions. It just says, don't kill. Don't kill time. Don't kill affection. Don't kill relationships. Don't kill hope. Don't kill the courage, etc., etc. Do you feel empowered, friend? Do you feel empowered yourself? Hopefully you do. Hopefully you're feeling so empowered that tomorrow you will come back for more, because Emmanuel is inviting us for more. He didn't stop here. He wrote more. And he wrote chapter 26 saying, in your hands. Oh yeah, talking about empowerment, huh? He's saying, in your hands. And he quotes from Jesus when Jesus told us the Lord's Prayer. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as in heaven. And he says, clear cut, it's so powerful, this message. He says that we, as it is easy to observe you are on earth, according to the laws of space and time, to improve yourself, but with vast possibilities to exercise the good and extend it to others. I feel moved by it because it's all about empowerment. So friends, may you rejoice this day in the next 24 hours, customizing our lives so we are pro-life, not pro-death. Let us encourage others as we encourage ourselves. So, shall we, friends? A big hug and a kiss, many blessings, and until tomorrow, God willing.